Hello, spooky crew. Our tote bag drawing is officially closed, and we just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who entered. We are so grateful for the love and the support, and we have loved reading your reviews. Missed the tote? No worries. We're still sending out high-quality vinyl stickers while supplies last. Just email us proof of your rating and review along with your mailing address to thespookydarlings@gmail.com, and we'll get one headed your way. Quick promise, your address is only for mailing the sticker. No emails, no selling info, no funny business, just spooky gratitude. Thanks again for supporting the show. You are the reason we do this.
You're listening to The Spooky Darlings, where three sisters chat about topics that they find intriguing. I'm Haley.
I'm Nettie.
I'm Emily.
And today, Emily is going to lead our episode with a murderer. Is that right?
A mystery topic.
That is correct. I have not even told you guys what my topic is.
I can't wait.
And never have I ever been more excited.
Okay. Let me take you to 1997 near Tomball, Texas, where a beautiful woman named Denise Hayslip is enjoying her post-divorce kind of like single girl life. Again, she's 39 years old. She, by all accounts, is really lovely. She's just a beautiful, fun-loving person. She likes to go to bars and play pool and dance. She's just like...
She's so fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's just a really fun, lovely person. She's the mother of a son named Wade, who was 13 years old at this time. And she just was really kind of like out of a divorce and enjoying life as much as she could. So around June 1997, she meets and begins dating a man named Charles Victor Thompson. And we'll call him Chuck. That seems to be the name that he went by, that people who knew him call him. Mm-hmm. So she begins dating a man named Chuck. And it was pretty much a whirlwind romance. Like from the night that they met, they went home together and they just basically like stayed together. Mm-hmm. People kind of like talked about it as love at first sight. And, they just were pretty much attached. So he pretty quickly moved in with her. She had a roommate where she was living at the time named Lisa Gonzalez. And Lisa was her coworker and roommate. Lisa had 2 daughters. And Chuck was kind of a scrub. Like he rarely worked. Oh. He kind of lived off these 2 ladies. He lounged around.
We don't want no scrub.
We don't want no scrubs. So,
wait, did the daughters, Lisa's daughters, live with Denise? Like
yeah,
they all
so
live
I think
together?
Lisa and her 2 daughters and Denise shared a place together. Okay. Mm-hmm. They shared rent, and then Chuck moved in and was kind of like living off of these ladies. Mm-hmm. Providing everything. Like he was a little bit, like he seemed to be one of those kinds of guys that was like pretty charming at first, but then like it was starting to get a little old, him just kind of like mooching off of these ladies. And he was also becoming increasingly jealous and possessive. He would have these angry outbursts that included damaging property. He would throw things. He would kick appliances.
No good.
He'd upset furniture. And then he began to also physically abuse Denise. Friends reported seeing bruises on her neck, black eyes, split lip. She was often trying to cover this up with makeup. They would go out and Chuck would get mad at her for dancing, for socializing, for what he thought was flirting. Like he would get upset and want her to just kind of sit quietly by his side.
Ugh, I don't like him.
No. Yeah, we don't like him. So he continued this kind of scrub life. He was using a lot of alcohol, and I heard in a couple of the sources that I listened to and read that there was also cocaine in the mix. So it's not a great combination. During one of these outbursts,
if you can't handle your cocaine, don't do it.
That is true, and that's wise. And that's why I'm always grateful for your advice, Haley.
You're welcome. I learned it in my 20s.
Yeah.
I'm now 40.
Yeah.
Right.
She turned 40 yesterday, so happy birthday to our
Haley.
sister,
Oh,
Haley.
Sorry, just bumped the table with my knee.
That's okay.
Thanks. I got excited because you guys were wishing me happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I can't be mad at you for bumping the table because it was your birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
Although you should know better now at 40. All right, moving on.
Thank you, Emmy. Sorry.
No, you're good. So during one of Chuck's outbursts, he started to get physical with Denise, and Lisa was there, and she tried to intervene, and Chuck knocked her to the ground.
Oh my goodness.
So like she had seen him like shaking Denise, and when she tried to be like, "Hey, knock it off," he knocked her to the ground, and he ripped the phone cord from the wall when she was trying to call the police. So after this, Lisa was like, "Nope, I've got 2 daughters. I'm out." So she moved out, found another place.
Oh, I wish Denise would have left. I mean, I don't know what's happening. I genuinely don't, but I can tell that it's going somewhere bad. And I just wish Denise would have left when he started upturning furniture. Like, that's when it's time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the control and then like
Just the jealousy and turning over.
It's you know, clearly a pattern that we've seen before that we're all like feeling nervous about without even knowing the story, right? Go ahead.
And that we all know, like, that I have like, been in this position and I didn't like end the relationship when I should have. And it's really tough, especially when you are hoping that this person is your person. And then they start doing these things where you're like, okay, but they're so great. They're so great at these times. And then you just start like giving little permissions. And then pretty soon you are in the hospital. And so.
Yeah. And then, you know, she was post-divorce. She probably just really was like, well, one failed marriage. This relationship's going to work. I mean, I don't know.
The love bombing is really addictive, and the highs and lows. And then like the highs are so high and the lows are so low that you kind of just hold on to those highs.
Well, actually, Denise did end up breaking things off with Chuck, and she found a new place to live.
Oh, good.
And according to Chuck, he felt like it was still kind of on again, off again. She had said that she had ended things and she was starting to see another guy. So there are kind of conflicting accounts there. And maybe they did still see each other. It's a small town. Like, this is near Tomball, Texas. It's kind of like, you know, people know each other. It's not, you know, so whether they were still involved or not, this is where they were at this point. So Denise had moved out too. And around this time, Denise's 13-year-old son, Wade, was approached by his youth pastor this must have been a little like before she actually broke things off with Chuck. But the youth pastor approached Wade, the son, and said that he saw that it was a volatile situation. He was like, I don't want to get CPS involved, but I think I have to if you don't go stay with your grandparents. So Wade, at 13 years old, moved out of his mother's home and in with his grandparents.
Oh, no.
And around this time, Denise starts dating another guy named Darren Cain. Everybody talks about Darren Cain as, you know, he's just like your typical 90s handsome guy. Like, people would say he could have been in the movies. He was strong. He was, you know, broad-shouldered, buff, handsome. Just kind of, he was working as a bartender, but people kind of just said that he like had so much potential. Like, he could have done anything. Everybody really liked him. So Denise and Darren start seeing each other. He was a bartender at the time, a little younger than Denise. She was 39 at the time. So it brings us to around April of 1998. So late in the evening of April 29th, 1998, Darren Cain called his best friend, Tony Alfano, and asked him to meet up at the bar to watch the Houston Rockets game. And Tony was not able to come. He declined. About 2:30 a.m., Darren called his friend Alfano again, and he was like, hey, Chuck is out of line. He's threatening Denise. He's messing with her. One account said he was messing with her. One account said he was beating her. So I don't know exactly what was going on, but, you know, Darren is telling his friend Tony that, you know, Chuck is in Denise's,
Chuck is being Chuck
space. And so he's going to go over to Denise's apartment to help her.
Oh, so he's like at the bar and Denise is reporting to him somehow that Chuck is over there harassing her?
I guess so.
Okay.
So around 3:00 in the morning, on the, like, early in the morning of April 30th, a neighbor Catherine Page woke up to her dog barking and a woman shouting, saying, "Stop and help." So she called the police and she went outside. She saw Denise and Darren. They were both outside. They didn't appear to be injured or anything. But Denise was obviously upset and apologizing to everybody, you know, was like, sorry for all of this, saying that to Darren, saying that to the neighbor, Catherine. So then Chuck comes out of the apartment and Chuck has a black eye. He's yelling and he's swearing. He's calling Denise a whore. The neighbor, Catherine Page, noticed that he had a black eye. Darren tells Chuck to chill out. And Thompson responds, "Do you want to die, motherfucker?"
Oh.
Harris County Deputy William Coker was called to the scene, and he shows up. He, treats it like any domestic disturbance. He tells Chuck to get out of there. He tells them, he asks if anybody wants to press charges. Nobody seems to want to press charges. So he tells Chuck to go home. He sees that Chuck had a bruised eye, but he also learned that Chuck had started the altercation. So he just basically said, "Go home. If you return, it'll be a criminal trespass." And then Chuck left.
Okay.
Around 6 a.m., the same neighbor. Go ahead, Haley. Did you have a question?
Sorry, no, I was going to say a joke, and then I was going to say, and everybody lived happily ever after. Sorry.
Yep, that's the story I came to tell you today.
Story, good. Chuck learned a lesson and became a better man.
So around 6 a.m., the neighbor, Catherine Page, her son was getting ready to go to school, and he heard gunshots as he was leaving for school. Soon after, there was like a sound at the door. When Catherine opened the door, she saw Denise sitting on the ground, bleeding profusely. There was blood everywhere, and she was gasping, trying to speak but couldn't.
Oh my gosh.
And she used her hand to mime a gun, like indicating that she had been shot.
Oh my gosh, because she couldn't talk. Oh, poor thing.
So
So she crawled to her neighbor's door.
she had crawled to her neighbor's
Oh
door.
my God.
So the same Deputy Coker, returns to the scene and found Denise sitting in a pool of her own blood with a gunshot wound to her face.
Oh,
Blood coming from her mouth. He asked her if Charles Thompson had shot her, Chuck, if Chuck had shot her, and she nodded yes. Inside the apartment, Officer Coker found Darren Cain dead.
Oh,
he
no.
had been shot multiple times. I believe it was 4 times in the neck and chest.
Oh, jeez.
And Chuck later blames the officer for the events that unfolded that morning for letting him go when he had been intoxicated. Denise was taken to the hospital where doctors were actually hopeful that she could make a recovery, even though her facial injuries were severe. She'd been shot in the face point blank, basically. And the bullet pierced her windpipe. And at some point during her stay at the hospital, her breathing tube became dislodged, and she was
No.
she was pronounced brain dead. She'd been without oxygen to her brain for 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, that's so awful.
Yeah, so she was then pronounced brain dead, and then after a few days, the family made the very tough decision to, what is it called?
Pull life support.
Yeah.
Yeah, to take her off of life support.
Man, that would be such a tough decision.
Before she passed in the hospital, her brother was asking her. She was able to communicate with motions. She just couldn't speak, but her brother asked, and she confirmed again that it had been Chuck
Okay.
that did this.
Also, the morning of the shooting, after she had been taken to the hospital, her son Wade was pulled from his 8th grade classroom and informed that his mother had been shot and was
Poor baby.
in the hospital. The first words out of his mouth were, "It was Chuck, wasn't it?"
Oh, because he knew. Oh, that poor kid. It's awful.
So after that initial fight that the police officer had come to break up, Chuck returned to the apartment where Denise and Darren were sleeping. He kicked in the door. He later claimed to the police that he was just going there to pick up some things for work. But he kicked in the door.
He needed him real bad. So he had to
Kick in the door. Couldn't knock.
And then he claimed that he was surprised to see Darren and that Darren came at him with a knife. And then he was forced to shoot him in self-defense.
I doubt it.
You know,
and then
Convenient
also
when you're the only one to tell a story.
and then also shoot Denise in self-defense.
so then
she was shouting at me, so I had to shoot her in the windpipe so she'd stop shouting.
You know how women are.
So he fled the scene and went to a friend's house. His friend's name was Diane Zerna. He slept there on her couch, and in the morning he told Diane that he had shot Darren 4 times, reloaded the weapon, looked at Denise, and said, "I can shoot you too, bitch," and then shot her in the face. He also told Diane that he had thrown the gun into a creek.
Okay.
Chuck's dad hears what's going on, comes and picks him up, and takes him to the police station and basically makes his son turn himself in.
Oh, good.
Meanwhile, at the hospital, I already mentioned this, Denise's breathing tube
Came dislodged.
had come dislodged. So where he originally would only have been tried for the first murder if she'd made a recovery, he was now on the hook for 2 murders, which in Texas makes you eligible for the death penalty. It has to be more than one
Murder. Oh, okay.
murder, I believe.
Wow. I didn't know that about Texas.
So Diane was 39 at the time that she passed away, and Chuck has repeatedly tried to blame the hospital for her death, claiming that it was their negligence that made her die, so he shouldn't be on the hook for the capital punishment.
Okay, but if you
no,
hadn't shot her, bro,
Pretty sure it was the
she wouldn't
bullet.
be in the hospital.
The bullet
What
in
are
the
you doing?
face.
What are
Guys.
you doing, dude?
I'm pretty sure it was the bullet in the face that made her die.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Glad we all agree.
So, Chuck, while he is in the Harris County jail awaiting trial, jail officials and prosecutors received some information. A fellow inmate of his, it was his cellmate, named Jack Reed, approached a deputy named Max Cox, who was from the Harris County Sheriff's Department. Jack Reed told Cox that Chuck was trying to get somebody to murder Diane Zernia, who was the friend that he went to stay with.
You gotta be kidding me.
Because she was a witness
Yeah.
and she knew where the gun was and she knew what he had said. So it would contradict his version of events.
What a jerk.
So
Sounds like someone who never learned self-regulation.
Jack Reed told Deputy Cox that Chuck had already lined this whole thing up through another inmate, Max Humphrey, who had recently been discharged. And he said that Chuck was looking for someone to retrieve the gun from the creek and get it to Humphrey for the planned killing.
Oh, man. So he was even planning on using the same gun. Because then he could say, well, see, someone else killed with the same gun while I was in jail. So
Yeah.
it was somebody else.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that complex, or maybe he's just dumb. I like both things are possible, totally possible.
Also, what great names are Jack Reed and Max Cox? I feel like those are really great names.
They are. They are super
They
great.
seem pretend.
So, Deputy Cox tells Jack Reed, the cellmate, okay, if Thompson, I keep switching back and forth between Thompson and Chuck, so we can call him Chuck or Thompson. Just know that those are the names that I'm using for him. If Chuck asks again, that Reed should say that he knows somebody that could get the gun.
You call him UpChuck Baguk. Just saying.
Yeah. So Deputy Cox then arranged for another man named Gary Johnson, who was an investigator with the Harris County District Attorney's Office. He arranged for him to meet with Chuck undercover and record the conversation. So this is all in prison while he's awaiting trial, right? Mm-hmm. So Gary Johnson testified that Chuck brought a hand-drawn map and held it up to the glass for Johnson to see. And the gun was later identified as the same murder weapon from the case that was happening. And that in this conversation, he thought he was speaking with his hired hitman. And he also mentioned that Diane, her daughter comes home around this time. She had a 14-year-old
my
daughter.
gosh.
Yes. So this is the level that this man is at. He's acknowledging that this is a woman with a child and he's trying to end her life.
Depravity.
Awful.
So this was all revealed in his first original trial, and it served to make sure that he got a harsher sentence because in Texas, capital sentencing, the prosecution has to prove that the person will be a continued danger to society in order to justify the death penalty. Mm-hmm. So they kind of prove their future dangerousness. So the state used the alleged solicitation attempt trying to have a witness killed from in jail as evidence to argue that Chuck would remain a threat, which, kind of makes sense. So genius Chuck here basically sealed his own fate of ending up, getting a harsher punishment by trying to arrange this. And the jury did hear this testimony about this, undercover operation and the hitman and everything. The jury did hear it, and that was considered in the punishment. Diane, what was her last name again? Diane Zerniette did testify, and everybody said that she just looked terrified. Like she was scared. She knew that her life was in danger. And I mean, she thought this guy was her friend. Like,
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean,
she let him into
and
her
I get the
house
feeling-
at like what?
yes,
6 a.m. 3 a.m.
she probably thought they were not friends anymore after he talked about murdering people. But, so she was terrified. So in April of 1999, Charles Victor Thompson, or Chuck, was found guilty of murder of the two, Darren Cain and Denise Hayslip. And he was sentenced to death. But the story does not end there.
What? What?
Okay. I'm on the edge of my seat.
As am I.
In 2005, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals ruled that the recording of that jailhouse conversation violated Chuck's Sixth Amendment rights or his constitutional right to counsel.
I would digress.
No,
I would disagree. I mean,
Well, so because of that, they didn't overturn his verdict. They just vacated his death sentence and ordered a new sentencing hearing.
Okay.
well, I'm
So
fine.
the
Life in prison, no parole, no parole.
Right. Yeah. So the tape,
He stays in jail, right, Em? Tell us.
What?
Tell us now. Just
Does he
kidding.
stay in
Sorry,
jail?
that's the
Does
end
he
of the
stay
story.
in jail?
tell you what,
Continue telling us your story.
No, you just you keep going.
I want you guys to tell me what you think happens, and then I'll tell you what actually happens.
Well, I'm going to tell you my hope, but I have a feeling it's wrong. I hope that they're like, okay, no death sentence, but you're staying in jail, man.
For the
no
rest
possibility of parole.
of your days.
Yes. And not just any jail, but we're putting you
Mean jail.
in mean jail with the mean men
jail?
that are going to,
Mean
make you,
people.
make you their girlfriend. You guys can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so the tape from the conversation with the undercover cop was deemed inadmissible. I guess their argument was that the state should not elicit incriminating information using an undercover agent while charges are pending. I would argue that a woman's life was in danger and,
And possibly a child's life.
recording it, not recording it. Yeah. So it gets so frustrating when you hear these things. Like I understand that, we should have rights, whether we're, being charged with something or not. I value that, but also like, I hate it so much when somebody's under threat or in danger and there has to be this like proof of intent. So, you know what I mean? Like we're like protecting the offender more than the potential victims.
So,
It's-
just
Well,
so
the
I'm
system
clear,
is not made to protect victims.
just so I'm clear, he's talking to an undercover cop about murder for hire.
yes.
And that is what they're worried about. It's not like the cop was like, I'm going to trick you into confessing to something you didn't do. Literally, the cop was like, I'm just going to sit here and pretend to be a hitman. Yeah, I feel like there's a difference between that and then what was like, in the Candy Cane Park murder
Like
that we
the counsel
talked about,
thing,
where
yeah.
it's like you're tricking the person into confessing something by feeding it. It's different. It's different.
It is different. So in October of 2005, Chuck had a resentencing hearing and a new jury heard all of the evidence. And again, they imposed the death penalty after considering all of the evidence.
Good job, jury.
And then on November 3rd, 2005, Chuck Thompson escaped from the
Stop
Harris
it.
County Jail in Houston, Texas.
Stop it.
He had somehow hidden a change of clothes in his cell, civilian clothes in his cell. He somehow had a forged ID badge, and he claimed to be an official from the Texas Attorney General's office and convinced at least 4 deputies to let him pass.
He was helped. He could not have done this on his own.
Yeah.
Certainly, yeah. So investigators claim that they don't know exactly how he got his restraints off, whether he had a handcuff key or what. Like they That part remains undisclosed. One report suggests that he had contraband hidden in his jail cell in a legal binder that helped him prepare for the escape.
Boo.
He basically walked right out of jail, and then he had pre-planned to have a tank top and shorts underneath. He stripped down to tank top and shorts and jogged so that people that passed by would just think he was a jogger. They wouldn't be looking for the same man that just walked out wearing civilian clothes.
This is why I've always been suspicious of men jogging in tank tops and shorts.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't know what it is about you.
You probably just escaped jail.
But shirtless men jogging in shorts.
No, they're fine. They're
Love
fine.
them.
Don't leave them alone.
I would never. But also I approve.
Let them do their thing.
I observe.
So Chuck Thompson was on the run for 4 days. He made his way to Shreveport, Louisiana, which is about 200 miles northeast of Houston. Nobody knows how he got there. He survived by getting food and clothing from strangers and posing as a Hurricane Katrina evacuee. So people were just helping. Everybody was helping at that time. In 2005,
So Hurricane Katrina happened in 2005?
Yeah.
Was it just like right after? Oh my gosh.
I hate this guy.
It was shortly after, and so many people evacuated from Louisiana to the Houston area after Hurricane Katrina. So he posed as an evacuee.
Mm-hmm. He's like, that's why I don't have anything other than this, shorts and tank top that obviously are for running.
Yeah, so he got, food, lodging, money, whatever, from people that were just trying to be good Samaritans to somebody that they thought was,
I hate this guy.
Fleeing their disaster. So then on November 6th, 2005, Chuck was recaptured.
Good.
Drunk outside a liquor store in Shreveport. He was trying to use a payphone, and reportedly when asked his name, he said, "You know who I am," and then promptly identified himself. He had tried to call an old girlfriend to ask for money, and she turned him in for the $10,000 from Crime Stoppers.
Yay!
Yes,
job.
yeah, good for her. And then he went on to argue that his 4 days of being out and about and not killing anybody is proof that he is not a danger to society. He even commented that he saw little old ladies that he could have totally stolen a car from, and he didn't.
Oh my gosh. This guy is the worst.
I think the fact that he saw little old ladies and was like, I could steal a car, tells us he's a danger.
The fact that it crossed his mind.
He's just a real piece of shit, in my opinion.
Agreed.
So Chuck has blamed a lot of people over the years for what happened and landed him in jail. He blamed Denise, for being in a relationship. Basically like claiming that she was still his girlfriend, tried to play the jealous thing, even though, she had broken it off. She was seeing another guy. He tried to blame her. He tried to blame Darren, saying that he brandished a knife. And most people who are familiar with the case do not believe that Darren ever had a knife at any point. He was found right inside the door wearing his boxer shorts. He was waking from sleep. He was not expecting an altercation. He blamed the police, as I said earlier, for, basically saying that if the police had done their job, then he would have gone and dried out in a county jail cell instead of going home and coming back to commit the murders.
I mean, here's the thing with people like this. It's like they can never take accountability. And
so that's a clear thing. And then he, as I said earlier, he also blamed the hospital for Denise's death, trying to make it seem like she wouldn't have died if it hadn't been for what happened while they were in the hospital. So Wade Hayslip, who, as you'll remember, is Denise's son, who was 13 years old at the time of his mother's death.
Poor kid.
There was a quote from one of the articles I read. It just said, "What has haunted me over the last 2 years is that he's the only human being who is alive today who can tell us what actually happened. He's never done that. He's never actually apologized. Part of an apology is owning what you've done. Telling some British interviewer that you were a dumb kid and made mistakes isn't an apology. You were a grown man. You paid taxes. You had children." And he also said, he took her life, but he took so much from me. She taught me how to love. Humility came to me through my mother. Just made me so sad to hear that and, know that this guy, this kid didn't get to have a mom there for his wedding or for his, the birth of his children, things like that.
Just like important life events. And he just
Yeah.
seems like he has all of the wisdom that UpChuck Baguk lacked.
So Charles Victor Thompson, or Chuck, or inmate number 999306,
Or
UpChuck
Baguk.
received a death warrant in September of 2025 and is set to be executed on January 28th, 2026.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That's coming up.
Yes. Usually a warrant is only issued after all standard appeals have been completed or denied. So this implies that his appeals channels are effectively exhausted. And, while there could still be a last minute stay or clemency or something like that, it is likely that he will have his sentence carried out in January, which is next month.
So I think we're releasing this episode like the first week or two of January. So we should make sure we follow up with what actually happens. Make sure we follow up. So stay tuned, listeners.
Nettie, remember that that website I sent you that was basically like people on death row? That was where I found this guy. I just
great.
I clicked on a couple and I was like, oh, I don't want to tell that story. And then I found this one and I was like, what? And then even reading more, I was like, what? Such an insane story.
Emily, so fascinating. And I don't think I've heard a bit of this.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if maybe we heard about it. And I'm sure that it was big in the news in 2005 when he escaped prison. I just don't think I knew any of the details of what had happened leading up to all of that. He does have apparently like quite a following of supporters on Facebook called like Friends of Charles Victor Thompson. It's like a bunch of ladies.
What? UpChuck Baguk's cucks?
Yes.
Checks Baguk's.
A bunch of ladies like the kind that, fall in love with killers.
Oh.
You guys, what is
It's
wrong?
kind of gross and sad. I don't know. Yeah.
We should do an episode on these women and their mental
There's a book
issue.
called Women Who Love Men Who Kill. I've been meaning to get it.
We should do like one of our like trio
Trio.
episodes on it where we each like highlight
Cover
someone.
a woman.
It's so crazy to me that you would want to support someone like this. And I just want to say, like, if you are with someone, that first sign that they cannot control their own emotions, but it's never their fault, even if it seems minor to you, pay attention. Just start waking up and paying attention.
Especially if they say, I just love you so much. I just love you so much. You just make me crazy. Like, no, you don't make them crazy.
Yeah.
They are a bad person.
Shifting the blame.
Well, and I just want to say I'm not in any way blaming Denise for not backing out. I think that this is part of the reason why people like to talk about true crime and events like this is that we can start to talk about, well, these were the warning signs and maybe Denise didn't know to look for them.
Well, and I think in all fairness, though, she did break it off with him. And that's the thing that's really tragic. She decided she wasn't going to put up with that. And she was dating a guy that treated her well, that was nice.
Any supporters, can you please just examine yourself? Maybe find a different hobby. Maybe art, maybe poetry.
If someone's broken up with you and they don't want to see you anymore, don't go to their house at 3 a.m.
But anyway, that is the very tragic story of the lives taken from Denise Hayslip and Darren Cain.
Denise
and the
Darren.
crazy jail antics of that
Creep.
UpChuck Baguk.
Chuck
Emily,
is the worst.
really good job.
Yes.
That was, I have never heard of this case.
I love hearing, I don't love hearing about violent cases, but it's very
interesting.
It's interesting when you hear when you haven't heard before. And I'm fascinated. I'm now riveted to see what happens in January on the edge of my seat. I'm going to sit here until the end of January. Oh my gosh.
She's staying right here
I get
until
to
the
stay
end of
right
January.
here until the end of January. I'm so excited. It's going to be really restful.
All right. So who wants to close us out?
I'll do it. Okay. Thanks for listening. We are the Spooky Darlings, and you can find us on our socials on the Spooky Darlings podcast, where we post pictures that accompany each episode. And we really appreciate
Instagram and TikTok.
Yes, all our socials, Instagram and TikTok. And if you would be so kind to just take a moment right now and just log into whatever device you're listening on and leave us a 5-star rating, we would really appreciate it. That's it. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Stay spooky in the night.
5 stars.
Happy New Year. Hey, UpChuck. Hey, UpChuck. We hope you stay in jail. Before we disappear into the shadows, don't forget, we're still sending out vinyl stickers. Leave us a rating and review and email us proof to thespookydarlings@gmail.com, along with your mailing address, and we'll send you some spooky snail mail while supplies last. And if your heart is still mourning that tote bag, may we gently tempt your way toward our merch store at thespookydarlings.printful.me. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Thanks for listening. And as always, stay spooky.